Time of death, approximately 5 years ago. It happened on a random Tuesday, probably around 3 in the afternoon, when you quietly decided that a comfortable lie was easier to swallow than an inconvenient truth. You did not notice the pulse stop, of course. Nobody does. Spiritual death is silent. It does not come with a theatrical gasp or a dramatic drop in temperature. It is simply the moment you stop reaching. But looking at you now, on this cold, sterile slab of your own making, the decay is impossible to ignore. Let us open you up and see what actually killed your ambition. We begin with the outer layer, the superficial symptoms. On the surface, you look functional. You wake up on time. You go to work. You pay your bills. You scroll through your phone for hours. And when people ask how you are doing, you tell them you are just tired. But that fatigue is not physical. It is not something you can cure with 8 hours of sleep or a weekend off. It is the heavy, low-frequency hum of a mind that has gone into hibernation to avoid a fight. You have spent years building a very specific kind of armor. You call it patience. You call it waiting for the right opportunity, or saving up your energy, or figuring things out before you make a move. But when we look closer, the skin reveals the truth. We see the telltale signs of stagnation, the endless loop of passive consumption, the way you watch other people live their lives through a glass screen, feeling a strange, bitter mixture of jealousy and relief. Relief because they are out there risking public failure while you are safe, but entirely frozen. You think you are protecting yourself from the world, but you are actually protecting the world from your potential. Now, let us make the first deep incision. We have to go past the skin, past the daily routine, down through the thick layers of excuses you have repeated so often, they now sound like objective facts. We trace the nerve pathways back to your mid-20s, or perhaps even earlier. There was a specific, sharp moment when the world did not go the way you planned. Maybe a door was slammed in your face. Maybe you realized that the talent you were praised for as a child was actually quite common in the real world. In that exact moment, a quiet, unspoken fear took root. The fear that you are ordinary. The fear that if you actually tried with everything you had, if you threw your entire soul into a dream, you would still come up short. And that was a thought your ego could not survive. Instead of fighting, you hid. That is the blockage. It sits right there in the chest, restricting your breath every time you think about starting that project, making that call, or walking away from the comfortable misery of your current life. You did not want to feel the pain of rejection, so you chose the slow, numbing anesthesia of denial. You convinced yourself that you were just waiting. But waiting without a deadline is not patience. It is cowardice wearing a tuxedo. Pathology report is quite clear on this point. Denial is not a passive state. It is an active, highly sophisticated operation. It does not look like weakness. If it did, your ego would reject it immediately. Instead, it masquerades as wisdom. It tells you that you are being realistic. It whispers that next year will be different, that you will have more clarity, more resources, or a better environment. But let us be completely honest with ourselves here. There is no perfect moment coming. The calendar keeps turning, the years keep bleeding into one another, and the only thing that accumulates is the weight of what you have left unsaid and undone. You are trading your actual, limited time on this earth for a fantasy of a future that you never have to build. It is a quiet contract you sign with yourself every morning. You agree to accept a dull, persistent ache today, just so you do not have to face the sharp, terrifying possibility of failing tomorrow. Every time you set an alarm and hit snooze, every time you write a to-do list and abandon it, you are registering a micro-failure in your own mind. You are teaching your nervous system that your word means nothing. You are eroding your own self-trust. And once self-trust is gone, denial is the only coping mechanism left. But here's where the autopsy takes a strange, unsettling turn. We look at the wound, we analyze the poison in the system, and we search for the external cause. We want to blame the economy. We want to blame your parents, your boss, your bad luck, or the timing. We want to believe you are a victim of circumstances beyond your control. But as we trace the trajectory of the weapon that killed your potential, we find something terrifying. The hand on the hilt belongs to you. This was not an accident. You actively chose this. You paid for this safety with your own life. You are the coroner standing over this body, but you are also the killer who put it here. You built the cage, you locked the door, and you threw away the key because the outside world felt too big, too cold, and too indifferent. You wanted relief. You thought that by avoiding the fight, you would find peace, but you did not find peace. You just found a slow, comfortable rot. You traded the agony of growth for the slow death of decay, and you called it security. Sit with that for a moment. Let the weight of it press down on your chest until it is hard to draw a full breath. Let the silence of this room fill your ears. Look at the trajectory you are on. If you keep doing exactly what you are doing right now, where are you in 10 years? You will have the same excuses, only they will sound more hollow. You have the same regrets, but they will be heavier, calcified into permanent bitterness. You will watch your youth fade entirely, replaced by the crushing realization that you chose to be a spectator in your own existence. The fear you refuse to speak, the fear of not being enough, has become your master. It dictates where you work, who you love, how you spend your evenings, and what you dare to dream. It is a quiet, invisible dictatorship, and you are its most obedient subject. You are dying in increments, one safe choice at a time, pretending that you are just saving the best for last, but there is no second act for those who refuse to perform in the first. So, here we are. The analysis is complete. The cause of death is clear. A systemic shutdown caused by prolonged, untreated denial. The body is open on the table, and the truth is laid bare in front of you. On the clipboard next to you is a document. It is an unsigned death certificate. You have two choices. You can sign it. You can accept that this is who you are now, a ghost, inhabiting a living body, waiting out the clock in a state of quiet desperation. You can go back to your phone, back to your comfortable lies, and let the cold settle in for good. Or you can walk out of this room. You can look at the raw, bleeding truth of your fears, say them out loud, and finally start the painful, terrifying process of coming back to life. The door is open. The choice is yours, but the clock is ticking.